Rachel Zegler, the young actress known for her breakout roles, appeared visibly somber while out and about in New York City this week, grappling with the fallout from the deeply disappointing box office performance of her latest project, the live-action remake of Disney's Snow White. The film, which had generated significant buzz before its release, has failed to resonate with audiences, leading to a wave of scrutiny directed at Zegler herself. At just 23 years old, Zegler has found herself at the center of a storm, with many pointing to her outspoken political opinions as a key factor in the movie's lackluster reception in theaters across the country. On this particular day, she was spotted taking a quiet stroll with her beloved pet dog, a fluffy golden doodle named Lenny, who trotted alongside her through the bustling streets of the city. The actress, who has been open about her love for her furry companion, seemed to find solace in the simple act of walking her dog, a moment of normalcy amid the challenges surrounding her professional life. Zegler, who took on the iconic title role in what some have labeled a progressive reimagining of the classic fairy tale, dressed casually for the outing, reflecting her low-key mood. She wore a loose, oversized denim jacket that draped over a simple blue shirt, paired with baggy gray sweatpants that gave her a relaxed, almost disheveled appearance. Her footwear consisted of comfortable Adidas sneakers, practical for a day spent navigating the urban landscape. Observers noted that she looked noticeably deflated, her usual vibrancy dimmed by the weight of the film's recent struggles. Her long, dark hair, typically a striking feature, was pulled back unceremoniously with a wide black headband, keeping it out of her face as she walked. The Snow White remake, a major undertaking for Disney, is now projected to incur a staggering financial loss of approximately $115 million, a figure that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. The film faced significant challenges even before its release, including an aggressive online campaign of negative rating surges that targeted its reputation. Additionally, calls to skip the film emerged from two distinct groups: supporters of Zegler and fans of her co-star, Gal Gadot, who plays a key role in the film. These calls were fueled by the actress's sharply divergent political views, which became a focal point for debate and divided potential audiences. Disney reportedly invested a hefty $270 million in the production of Snow White, a figure that does not account for the substantial additional costs of marketing and distribution. Despite this significant financial commitment, the film has struggled to recoup its investment, falling far short of the break-even point that studios typically aim for with such large-scale projects. The scale of this failure has had ripple effects within Disney, prompting the studio to take a hard look at its broader strategy. Indeed, the box office debacle has been so severe that Disney has decided to pause another planned live-action remake, this one of the 2010 animated hit Tangled, which tells the story of Rapunzel. The decision to halt production on Tangled reflects a moment of introspection for the House of Mouse, as executives reassess their approach to remaking beloved animated classics in the face of growing audience fatigue and critical backlash. Critical reception for Snow White was uneven from the outset, with reviewers offering a mix of praise and pointed criticism. Many took issue with the film's use of CGI to depict the seven dwarfs, arguing that the digital characters lacked the warmth and authenticity of their animated predecessors. Others expressed dissatisfaction with the modernized storyline, which reimagined Snow White not as a passive lovesick princess waiting for her prince, but as a strong feminist leader poised to take charge of her own destiny. While some appreciated this bold reinterpretation, others felt it strayed too far from the spirit of the original tale, alienating fans who hold the 1937 classic dear. Behind the scenes, tensions reportedly simmered between Zegler and Gadot, who plays a significant role in the film. Sources suggest that the two actresses experienced a falling out after filming Wrapped, a rift that may have been sparked by their differing views on Middle Eastern geopolitics. Gadot, a former instructor in the Israel Defense Forces and a vocal supporter of her home country, has long been open about her pride in her Israeli heritage. In contrast, Zegler sparked debate when she posted a message supporting Palestinian rights on social media just 24 hours after the debut of the first Snow White trailer last summer. The timing of her post, which came at a critical moment in the film's promotional campaign, amplified its impact, drawing both support and criticism from different corners of the internet. According to reports in Variety, the film's producer, Mark Platt, took the unusual step of flying from Los Angeles to New York to personally address Zegler's social media activity. The visit was reportedly prompted by concerns that her posts were overshadowing the film's marketing efforts and alienating potential viewers. Following this meeting, Zegler made headlines again by posting a strong criticism of Donald Trump on Instagram in response to his recent election victory, a move that further fueled discussion about her online presence. Sources indicate that she subsequently agreed to have a social media professional review her posts before they went live, a decision aimed at reducing further debate. In the aftermath of these events, Zegler shared a series of behind-the-scenes photos from the Snow White set on her Instagram account, offering fans a glimpse into the filmmaking process. Notably absent from these images was Gal Gadot, a detail that did not go unnoticed by observers speculating about the state of their relationship. Zegler's outspokenness extended beyond geopolitics to her views on the original Snow White film, which holds a historic place as the first-ever feature-length animated movie. In interviews, she described the 1937 film's prince as odd and suggested that his pursuit of Snow White in the early scenes felt overly persistent, a characterization that sparked backlash from fans who felt she was unfairly disparaging a beloved classic. In the new version of the story, the prince character was entirely written out, replaced by a roguish, Robin Hood-inspired bandit who serves as a different kind of romantic interest for Snow White. Despite the mounting challenges, Zegler put on a brave face earlier this week when she attended the opening night of George Clooney's Broadway play, Good Night and Good Luck in New York. Her appearance at the high-profile event came amid reports that Snow White was on track to lose a staggering sum at the box office, adding to the pressure she has faced in recent weeks. The financial picture for Snow White is grim, with a reported production budget of up to $270 million. Excluding the hundreds of millions spent on publicity and advertising, the film needed to gross 2 to 3 times its budget to turn a meaningful profit. Instead, it debuted to a lackluster $42.2 million at the domestic box office during its opening weekend, a figure that fell well below expectations for a Disney tentpole release. The second weekend was even more troubling, with ticket sales plummeting by 66%, a steep drop that underscored the film's struggle to maintain momentum. As of now, Snow White has grossed $77 million domestically after 2 weekends in theaters and $168.6 million worldwide. While these numbers are not insignificant, they pale in comparison to the film's massive costs and the lofty benchmarks set by Disney's most successful releases. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has earned a critical score of 40%, reflecting the mixed reviews it has received from professional critics. However, audiences have been more forgiving, with verified moviegoers awarding it a 72% rating, suggesting a disconnect between critics and the general public. On IMDb, however, the film has been hit hard by a coordinated surge of negative ratings, resulting in a dismal 1.6 out of 10 score based on 325,000 user votes. The severity of this backlash prompted IMDb to attach a warning to the score, noting unusual voting activity that may have skewed the results. Debate has surrounded Snow White since its earliest stages of production. The casting of Zegler, who is of Colombian-Polish descent, prompted discussion among some fans who questioned her suitability for the role of a traditionally fair-skinned character. The decision to render the seven dwarfs as CGI creations, rather than casting actors with dwarfism, also drew criticism, with advocates arguing that it deprived performers with dwarfism of meaningful opportunities. These issues, combined with the film's political undertones, created a challenging environment that has overshadowed its release. Zegler's vocal support for Palestinian rights became a focal point of criticism, with some claiming that Disney was unsure how to manage the outspoken actress. The studio has been navigating a complex landscape, with its live-action remakes for 15 years, a journey that began with Tim Burton's visually striking Alice in Wonderland. Early entries in this strategy, such as Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book, were celebrated for their creativity and enjoyed robust box office success. In recent years, however, the reception has grown more tepid, with films like Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio and Peter Pan and Wendy facing accusations of being uninspired and derivative. Both of those films bypassed theaters entirely, debuting as streaming exclusives on Disney+. The declining returns of recent remakes, including the Lion King prequel Mufasa, suggests that audiences may be growing weary of Disney's reliance on nostalgia over innovation. This shift in sentiment contributed to the departure of Sean Bailey, Disney's former head of film production, who was a driving force behind the live-action remake initiative. Bailey left the company last year, leaving Disney to chart a new course. Looking ahead, Disney has at least 2 more live-action remakes in the works: Lilo and Stitch and Moana. However, the studio's plans for a live-action Tangled have been put on indefinite hold, a decision reported by The Hollywood Reporter just months after the project was first announced. This move underscores the uncertainty surrounding Disney's remake strategy as it grapples with evolving audience expectations. Adding to Zegler's challenges, her former West Side Story co-star Ariana DeBose found herself embroiled in an awkward situation related to Snow White's release. DeBose, 34, shared a quote on Instagram from Jonah Platt, the 38-year-old son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, 67. The quote, posted against a colorful rose backdrop, read, "Self-centered behavior is not something to be coddled or encouraged." Many interpreted it as a veiled jab at Zegler, given the context of the film's struggles and Zegler's public persona. DeBose quickly deleted the post and issued a clarification, insisting that she had not intended to target Zegler. "I post quotes all the time and thought this one was meaningful," she wrote on her Instagram stories on Tuesday. "I'll fully admit I didn't research where it came from or know of the connection until it was pointed out to me. I have no intention of jumping into a news cycle. This isn't the first time I've posted about self-centered behavior, and it probably won't be the last, but I'll make sure to clarify its origins next time." Notably, DeBose did not offer a direct apology to Zegler, leaving some to speculate about the nature of their relationship. Rumors of tension between DeBose and Zegler date back to the 2022 award season for West Side Story, during which the two actresses were said to have drifted apart. While the specifics remain unclear, Zegler did not publicly acknowledge DeBose's historic win as Best Supporting Actress at that year's Oscars, despite having previously expressed admiration for her co-star. The debate surrounding Snow White took another turn when Jonah Platt, Mark Platt's eldest son, unleashed a scathing critique of Zegler on Instagram. In a now-deleted post, Jonah, whose younger brother Ben Platt, 31, is an acclaimed actor and singer, described Zegler as immature and suggested she exhibited self-focused tendencies. His comments were in response to a fan who referenced a Variety report claiming that Mark Platt had flown to New York to discuss Zegler's social media posts about Palestinian rights. The fan's comment read, "Your dad flew to NYC to reprimand a young actress. Any words on this? Because that's unsettling and uncalled for. People have the right to free speech, no? Shame on your father." Jonah responded with a fiery rant, beginning, "You really want to do this?" He continued, "Yeah, my dad, the producer of a massive Disney project with hundreds of millions at stake, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into promoting a film she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to star in and represent publicly." As the host of the Being Jewish podcast, Jonah argued that Zegler's actions had clearly damaged the film's box office performance. "Free speech doesn't mean you can say whatever you want in private employment without consequences," he wrote. tens of thousands worked on that film, and she shifted the focus to her own personal desires, risking the livelihoods of colleagues, crew, and blue-collar workers who depend on its success. Jonah concluded, "Self-centered behavior is not something to be coddled or encouraged.